there's a very high probability that we are looking at one of those key moments in the cycle that happens really only a few times in a year, or really even over a couple years in many cases. And in this video, we're going to be going over all of the setups in the background that are kind of coalescing to lead us into this back half of October, the area that we've really been waiting for quite some time, and then of course, produce hopefully some even more fun times in November. So this is going to be very much a higher term time frame focused video as we'll be getting into, but we will go over starting off with the weekly closure right over here for CME. CME on the weekly is right on the precipice of fun times. Let's say fun times as you do see it brush up against that 38.2 level, which is officially at 68,130, which Bitcoin is trading $5 above as of right now. Again, on CME, there's a slight premium over spot price action as of this moment. So with 14 hours, 58 minutes, and 35 seconds left to go in the weekly closure, if Bitcoin does on CME close above that level, I would be looking for perhaps over the weekend, but very likely into next week, as we'll get into a little bit later, Bitcoin to initiate its next run, very likely retesting somewhere around prior all-time highs in the low 70s, and perhaps set it up for even more continuation on top of that. This is also, however, I will say, the exact area that if you are going to get any sort of a rejection at all, this is exactly where it come from. So I do want to express a little bit of, I guess, restraint there, because as always, it's a game of probabilities, not certainties. And while things are, aiming towards the upside direction, if you're looking for a fake out, if you're looking for Bitcoin to put in yet another lower high on the higher term timeframes and come back down, this would be the area. This would actually be the area, and we'd be expecting a rejection here and into next week as well. But I'll be explaining why that is probably less likely. However, again, less likely doesn't mean that it's impossible. And as we went over in yesterday's video, short-term pullback was likely. We would have gotten that, however. So if things really are going to move, it's probably going to be in one direction. Anyways, moving on from there, going into weekly stochastic momentum, we can see that the weekly time frame, again on CME here, is breaking back into the bullish control zone for the first time since, the run actually literally about a year ago, when it freshly broke into this region, and will continue to the upside, assuming that today closes above 57,739. So about $10,000 above that pivot, looking likely. Again, maybe crazier things have happened in the world. But now let's get into the fun stuff. The very, very fun, or actually, sorry, one last thing as far as just general newbie indicators goes. We can see over here on the 3-week time frame, which is also closing today, by the way, hidden bullish divergence is still playing out. Again, pending today's closure, which is in 14 hours, 56 minutes, and 35 seconds and counting from now. This is looking indeed like the next higher low in a series of higher lows on the higher term timeframes, especially after a very long form consolidation over the past 6 to 7 months, again, on low volatility. So I do expect this to very likely, at minimum, give a try into the bullish control zone. As of right now, to even get in the bullish control zone, it would require a price closure of 70,500. So that will update coming into next week, and we'll come up with, a new number based off of that. But moving onwards and forwards from there and getting into the actual heart of this video, the very, very fun portion of this video, at least for myself, because I'm a fucking nerd, and we are going to go back into some statistics. So first things first, just a quick wrap up. We looked at Bitcoin October lows in the past. On average, they typically came in around day number 10. Funnily enough, the low of this month is literally on day number 10 as well. Doesn't necessarily need to be on the exact 10th. Averages are averages. We do expect variance, but in this case, it does look like it is going to be on the average. I mean, assuming Bitcoin doesn't completely pull the rug from here. What's next, however, is Bitcoin October highs on average have come in just after the 21st day of October. In fact, when the macro trend is up, the average goes a little bit higher into the 23rd and a quarter day. So you have to wait until a fourth of the day through. Just kidding. But, it's somewhere between the third and fourth week of October. What's interesting about that? Well, let me tell you, if you haven't already figured it out, which you probably have. And that is the 21st of this month comes in on this coming Monday. The 23rd of this month comes in on Wednesday. So again, doesn't necessarily mean that we have to see exactly the high come in on the average, just like we saw it come in on the low. There can be some variance there. And I do want to add that we do see all of these highs coming in pretty late in October, except for the one in 2012. The one in 2012 was on the 4th day of October here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get rid of that one just to see, and you can see that the average goes actually significantly up all the way to 26.5 days. So that would be a little bit closer towards, that 4th week of October. So, I do think that's probably going to be more accurate in this case, but hey, we'll see. And just to also see what else, could potentially be of relevance here in 2020 and 2016 and 2012, although 2012 is a very, very early year, we had Bitcoin halving and we had US elections. And both in 2016 and 2020, we did see that the high of October came in on the 29th and the 31st, respectively. Now, the 2012th, again, was that outlier at day number 4. You could argue that that was a very early time in Bitcoin's history. And so, maybe things were a little bit different there. You can all see even on 2011, it was like literally the first day of October. But yeah, probably coming in a little bit later in this month. So probabilistically speaking, again, not certainty-listically speaking, but probabilistically speaking, Bitcoin very likely does rally from here as it does peak its head above $68,000. But wait, there's more. We have other setups to be looking at and referencing. First, we do have this 12-hour setup right here. I believe I spoke about this a couple weeks ago, about a week ago when it fired off on October the 11th right here when Bitcoin was trading at 61,160. And this one is just, again, another moving average strategy. This strategy is designed to catch more sort of medium-term trending moves. And in this case, anytime that we do see price close above that red 5 exponential moving average alongside, I believe it is a 2-day uptrend and maybe perhaps a couple other things as well, we do see these statistics over here play out. And out of 547 total closed trades, we can see that 40.5% of those were closed profitably with a pretty massive profit factor, actually, over 3.16. So, pretty damn good right there. Now, going into the actual performance summary, we can see that the average winning trade returned about 11.5%. The average losing trade losing about 2.30%. Now, we can already see that this one has produced a pretty decent move, actually, from that entry. Let's see exactly what that would be. In fact, actually, it is already above that average. Now, the thing is that the averages for these sort of trending strategies can be a little bit deceiving just because the average is brought up significantly by the big fucking winners, because that's what these strategies are designed to do. But the problem is that a lot of the time you'll get a bunch of paper cuts, both small wins and small losses before, a major move like that plays out. In fact, you can see, several losses over here, a small win over here, before this one has already, has played out. Now, this current one has already regained all of the prior losses, but you can see, again, just kind of back testing it by your, by your face, by your eye, by your own eyes. It's those big winners that really drag that up. Anyways, moving on from there, we have even a higher term time frame moving average strategy here, the 5-day time frame. This one fired off a little bit more recently. This was on, hold on. This was actually at 62,800. So actually, it's technically speaking a little bit more recent than the last one that we just looked at, but not that much more recent. This one just based off of the 5-day time frame, being that it's the higher term time frame, typically has higher returns. You can see the profit factor here is pretty fucking massive, almost 13. If we go ahead and reduce the sample size to a more recent time between 2018 to current times, that goes down significantly to about 3.7. Still pretty damn good, but ultimately, same sort of thing here, just a higher term time frame. So what is the picture that I'm painting? The picture that I'm painting is that combining or coalescing these sort of different setups that we were looking at, both with the October statistics, the setup that we just looked at, this setup, and the one that we're about to look at as well. What are they suggesting? It's suggesting, hey, look, if you're bullish on Bitcoin, this is the move. This is the move. We don't expect Bitcoin to really have only like a significant pullback from here. We expect Bitcoin to actually break out from here. That's what it would be suggesting, especially with this one, because when we go into the performance summary, which this one is very, very important, the average amount of bars in winning trades is 9. That's 9. 9 on a 5-day time frame is how many days? 45 days. And that fired off earlier this month. So let's just see what that would kind of project for a timing of this. 45 days, again, average, but that would put us into the middle of November. And technically speaking, the average return for this one is about 30%. So that would put Bitcoin low 80s, again, average, but I do believe that this is probably not going to be a paper cut one right here. This is going to be one of those bigger runners. If anything at all, similar to what we saw back on over here. Again, this strategy is designed to catch these big moves. This is a 50% move right here, another 50% move right here as well. Of course, the other one's going to be a lot smaller. It's just the nature of moving average strategies. But in this case, this would look like the real one to me, especially when you do see, if I can bring you back over here, volatility is coming off of extreme lows. So things are set up in the background. Again, just wrapping up my thoughts. If Bitcoin is going to be breaking out to the upside, we do expect it from this move, actually. Short-term pullbacks are fine, sure. We saw one yesterday, as we said, was likely, but I mean, it can hang around here for a little bit longer, I guess. But, if it hangs around for too long, it's going to wear out its welcome. And then actually, you do have the possibility for an actual fake out. But what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that all of this is nonsense because we have the real setup right here, which is the moon setup. It's a super moon as well. So we went over in yesterday's video. Just a little bit of a joke. But it is funny to see that even a moon setup, which did fire off yesterday, by the way, which does have an over 58% strike rate. So, it's like, how many traders have an over 58% strike rate? Not everyone. And this one also having a pretty high profit factor at 3 as well. And again, if we go into the average trade, the average winning trade, 14.5% on the winning side. So about a 58% probability that we see on average a 14.5% move which would put Bitcoin on new all-time highs, 76,700, essentially within about 2 weeks. Again, there's going to be some variance in there. Some are going to be, major. Some are going to be not as major. But just another thing suggesting as far as timing goes, if you are bullish on Bitcoin, this is very likely the move. This is very likely the move. Let's go over what would negate all of this. Well, again, if you do see Bitcoin get rejected here, kind of spend a little bit too much time in this region over the next 5 to 10 days, and then especially if you see Bitcoin come back down below $65,000, that would be massively concerning. Massively concerning. But until then, I think I've made my thoughts pretty damn clear and my conclusions from these statistics. But that is, of course, a subjective interpretation. What am I really trying to say? What I'm really trying to say is don't be a fucking lobotomized moron. Don't be a lobotomized moron and think that statistics are certainties. They just give you probabilities that you can base decisions off of. So, yeah. Anyways. That just means go long without a fucking stop loss and email Elsa at crowntrading.net for refunds. No, kidding. Okay, kidding. Email Jason Pizzino at herpetyderp.com for refunds. Good friend. By the way, who even can we pick on at this point? There's I don't even know anyone left in the market. It's just me and Jason and his brother Michael, also really, really good as well. Anyways, yeah, good place for me to be leaving off. I should also let you know that there is a free link in the description below for a crypto school, which we do have the next private stream coming up on Wednesday. So again, if you're looking to, learn a few things, learn some statistics, learn some actual setups and whatnot, and you don't really want to jump into any one of these because it, has a financial cost towards it, then that might be a good idea just because it's fucking free. So the only thing that it costs is your time. Anyways, that is where I'll be leaving things off of for today. As always, I want to wish you the best. Again, a nice and fun video as we kind of put all of the things that we've been looking at together in the background here. Oh, I also forgot the hash ribbon signal as well. You know what? Let's throw that one in here too. I want to be as thorough as possible in this fucking one. That's exactly right. We saw the hash ribbons once again fire off a blue buy signal. Crazy. And we actually have seen 2 blue buy signals relatively close to each other in succession, which we typically don't see unless if major lows are being put in. Like these ones over here, very, very close to each other. What do you know? Major low. These ones over here, very, very close together. What do you know? Again, major low. Same thing. 3 got 3 over here. Major, major low over here. So, these things do not happen that often. Again, probabilities, not certainties, but you know, you can make whatever deductions you want from there. With that said, I'd like to wish you the best of best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow.